Absolutely right. And today we're going to focus on engaging customers. And if we treat the entire customer life cycles, right from, when you start bringing in customers into your pipeline and you start to engage with them, you acquire them, and all the way up to, you supporting them, retaining them, and, allowing them to evangelize what you do as a business. Uh, the mantra or the equation we wanted to come up with was very simple. If you're using Teams, which is going to be the hub for collaboration, what we want you to do is to ultimately sell effectively. And and to do that is, coming together, utilizing the various features within Teams, let's say channels where you can come together, group chats and meetings where you can come together to, reach out to the right person, collaborate, share information, and the other half being gathering insights. And when I say this, I don't say gathering insights as, big data or anything. It's being able to access the right information in the flow of the conversation, being able to share information, in fact being able to find information as a team and consume it as a team together, so that as an organization or as a sales function, you're able to share expertise, share learning, share ideas, and be successful as a team. The interesting bit is actually this is 30th of September. It's quarter 3 closing. So I really hope some of the ideas that we shared today are going to be beneficial maybe in the next quarter. If any of what we shared today spark ideas that is going to push the envelope for your team, and how they are going to push productivity, we would love to help, and to make sure that you make the best of Teams that's already available to you. Now, as Srinidhi mentioned, with collaborative apps being the centerfold, and Teams as a platform allows you to have access in so many different ways to all the apps that already exist inside of Teams. One way to look at it is to start with ready to use applications. If you haven't checked out already, go to the store inside of your Teams tenant. Go and see that we've already developed and have available ready to use plug and play apps. Some of which are free, ready to use, some of which you might be using outside of Teams, and you'll be pleasantly surprised that those apps are already available inside of Teams. So for you to start using them. And of course, if you don't find an app there which you are using, feel free to reach out to us and tell us if that's an app that you would like to use inside of Teams, and we'll see what we can do. Then comes in almost, I would say, from a few clicks comes to a few hours of work, where you are able to use our low code, no code solutions to easily start building apps or creating workflows together easily, so that people can. Sorry, was there a question? Okay, so that you can create simple workflows, and that will allow you to build simple productivity solutions inside of Teams. And then the other end that you can see is, hey, let's say you have a business scenario and a business challenge, and you would like for us to build something very custom, so that it will enable your team. Would be happy to do that, because Teams is a surface and Teams is a UX layer, and we're able to, as Srinidhi showed, we're able to plug in so many different technologies together, so that you can realize what you're looking for and whatever is specific to your organization's needs. For the next 10 minutes, maybe I'll try and focus on what's ready to use today, what's plug and play and available for you to push collaboration, and maybe some examples also on the low code, no code solutions that your organization can start using at the earliest. Starting off, best way to kick off collaboration, if you haven't already been doing this, is utilizing files. Whenever a file gets shared inside of Teams, in like a chat or a channel, you have the ability to not only open, let's say if it's from the Office suite as a file, you not only have the ability to open it from the apps that are available, the relevant apps, but also right inside of Teams itself. And this allows co-authoring, co-editing. And I can see from a sales perspective, if you are developing your sales pitch, if you want to review that right before you go on a call, and if you want to, if then somebody shares that in, let's say, in a chat or a channel, you being able to open it right there, review it, and complete your review and go back to what you were doing. Or maybe it's a PDF, or let's say it's a proposal or an RFP that you would like to build together as a team. You're able to start by creating the file itself inside of Teams. You're able to pull and comment and bring in the right people into that file, and all of them are able to collaborate and complete what they wanted to do right there. The idea being that we're able to cut on time and distance and effort that's being put in, but also foster collaboration, because now that file is readily available. It's within that chat. It's under the file section within the channel or chat for anybody to always go in and access. And of course, if you use the search bar and search for any of the files that you're looking for, you're probably going to find all of them right there. Of course, Excel. I mean, if it's sales and it's numbers at the end of the day, you being able to share trends and share forecasts and revenue summaries and all of it right inside of Teams, you end up creating within relevant channels for each of the sales teams and sales functions. You end up creating a central repository almost, where they can always go in and access the relevant files, easily share the relevant files, and consume information together as a team. There is no more isolations, and whether it's remote or let's say in the next quarter, it's going to be hybrid or maybe by next year, we are still able to ensure that people are able to get together and collaborate right inside of Teams by accessing the information that they want to access easily. The next thing I would say is, apart from the files that you create and share, now you might be using different applications, different CRMs, where you really store all your customers' information and where you build and manage the end-to-end process of your entire pipeline. You being able to easily have, we have integrations where you're able to easily share information. A quick example where you're having a quick sync or a daily or a monthly review within the sales team itself, and using the integrations, the ready-to-use integrations that we have. And you're probably seeing a simple example of Zoho CRM here, where they want to talk about a particular lead or a particular opportunity. You're able to quickly share that within chat itself, and in the flow of the conversation with all the relevant information that you want to see. And people are able to collaborate right there over it. They understand what's needed. They're able to perform the next set of actions with links that will take them straight to the CRM. We have quite a few CRMs and integrations available already inside of Teams. I'd say go check it out. If you use a CRM that's not available, like I said earlier, feel free to reach out to us and we'll see what parts of it that we can bring in that's going to help your team be more informed, quick to engage in terms of completing their actions. Can we bring nudges from your CRM to, let people know in Teams that there are actions being performed and, they need to do, the next set of actions right there. But it's a great example of how in the flow of the conversation, you are consuming information together as a team and pulling in relevant information without having to leave the conversation or the meeting itself. I'd say the next thing that we can think of is, once you've built your pipeline, you have your customers ready and you want to start thinking about, building these plans and, assigning tasks. This is my favorite bit, because this is something that we also regularly do. Is every time we come out with a plan of action, we want to, immediately assign tasks. We have multiple productivity tools, and I'd say project management tools that's going to, allow you to prioritize tasks, assign it to folks, build checklists, have priorities and due dates. You can start out with a tool like Tasks by Planner, which comes straight out with Microsoft, or if you're using something outside, let's say it's a Kanban board, or if it's Trello, or if it's any of the other project management tools, we possibly have integrations with them already. And I'd say try it out. This way, right within the channel, as you can see here, within this fictitious organization, the Contoso sales team under business accounts, they have a task tab where anybody who's part of the team and the channel, they can always go in and as an individual, get a comprehensive view of what is where, what's in progress, what needs to be done next. They know who to ping. We're cutting down on time to discover information. We're cutting down on time to search and find out what's going on. We as a team almost have this one giant dashboard where you can always go and find out what's happening. And you're able to quickly complete tasks based on that. And again, emphasizing that most of these solutions are ready to use. If you already are using the app outside of Teams, I'd say go today and try it inside of Teams and see if that makes a difference, and tell us about it. There you go. I've got a few other examples as well. right here to make it depending on the app that you use, to make it more relevant to the kind of features that you might be needing, or to make it a little bit more fun and interactive, as you can see right there. Next, I would say is comes the real deal of actually completing sales, and you managing docs, and you want the sign off. You want to bring the customer on board. We have a couple of applications, depending on what you use, where you're able to manage your documentation, where you're able to collaborate right when you build these documents for which you need sign offs, and you're able to send, receive, and manage all of them right inside of Teams. Just showing you a quick example here with Zoho Sign, which we have inside of Teams, where you're able to view, review as a team, ensure you tag the right folks, and of course you can send it out to the right folks to get the signature. So within Teams, as you get the approval saying, right, let's go do this and let's get this signed off, the app exists right there, and you can have it pinned on the side rail. As you can see that Zoho Sign is right here within the side panel for this particular user. You can have it right there where you're able to quickly go access, see all the documents that you've sent and received, what you've shared, see the status of it, and you're able to complete tasks easily. In fact, as a future state, what we want to do, when I keep saying in the flow of the conversation, or really in the flow of action, is a really good future state is being able to do live, signing to resonate really with what would happen in real life. And I'd like to show you like a small clip of what we are, gunning for. Is, let's say you actually go meet a customer and you get the sign off in person, and that's more of a real life thing. But what if you're able to do that to support what's going to be hybrid or remain virtual even for a bit, is being able to, in a Teams meeting, share the file or share the document for which you want the sign off, and then being able to receive the file right there within the meeting itself. And they're able to access this file, they're able to review this file, and once they sign off, you can also get the notification right inside the meeting itself that they've actually completed the sign off. It's the idea of bringing people closer, and it's the idea of resonating with real life, which is what we're all comfortable with, even though we're all working from home, and being able to complete the sign off right inside the meeting. There's no there's sending in an email and waiting, none of that's there. You're able to actually have the conversation, do the review with the customer right inside the meeting itself. And if everybody's good, nothing like closing. In fact, if you're closing deals at the end of the month, nothing like it. So nothing like closing a deal and getting the sign off right there inside the meeting itself. But this is a future state one that we're working on that is going to allow you to do such things right then and there. I would say now I'm going to switch a little bit over to low-code, no-code tools. This is where, if you haven't capitalized on the Power Platform already, I'd say go for it. Check it out. We're able to use, say, Power BI to build extensive dashboards that's going to give you in-depth insights. Karan, go for it. You have a question?
Yeah, I think the last example that you showed, what I find really interesting is while this really helps in customer connects and closing deals, like you mentioned, I think if we just take a step back, that really helps just transforming some paper pen processes internally as well, right? When it comes to document approvals and getting certain memos or documents moving in the line of chain of command, right? And a lot of that requires what happens today is printouts. You go to people, get it signed, then move ahead. I think all of that can be incorporated using tools that you showed about, right?
Absolutely, and I can think of so many different scenarios where we can digitally transform the whole paper pen thing today, and that would be across verticals, right? Where you're able to quickly share a file, and you probably have templates. You're able to create the file as a team, send it across, get the signature, done, either sent across online, or like you said, right there, in the meeting itself. No, great point, Karan. Thanks for that. Yeah. And as you get more sign-offs, and as you start to build your pipeline, and you start to enjoy revenue, this is you're able to also visualize and stay on top of what your team is doing, and all of that again. And again, I'm emphasizing that this is a sales report, and you are observing that you can see sales performance inside a channel. They've got a dedicated channel set up for monthly reports where, over a period of at any point of time, you can always come here and look at the Power BI and get a snapshot of what's happening. It over a period of time, it becomes the place for anybody who comes and goes inside the organization. It becomes that central point where all things related to reports are inside that channel, and you've got the tab where you can quickly access this Power BI. I'm going to quickly move. Of course, this is another example where inside a meeting, they're probably just sharing a view. We're coming out with some fantastic extensibilities inside meetings itself, where you don't even have to share. You can actually, pull information right inside the meeting and show, more of which we'll share during the course of this call. Next thing I would say is Power Virtual Agent, one of my favorites in terms of low code, no code solutions. And I can think of how your sales team can get trained using the virtually, or having a virtual assistant to get trained, having a virtual assistant to fetch information quickly. Or if you don't know who to connect with, can you have a simple assistant who will, based on who you're looking for, being able to quickly find the person and set up a connect with them. And I'm just sort of really scratching the surface here. I can think of multiple scenarios where having a simple virtual agent for your sales team will really enable in, really fetching information quickly, or approving tasks quickly, getting notified about what actions that are pending from their side. So many different ways in which you can have a simple assistant nudge you to complete tasks on time. And for not just you, for the entire, let's say, sales associates or the sales manager, different personas that we can think of, and them being able to easily collaborate. Another example, and this is probably using Flow, is, and I want to paint a scenario over here. It might not be relevant to everyone, but I want you to think of the art of possible here. If, oops, I apologize for slipping the slide, but if, let's say, there is a situation where you need to regularly have documents be reviewed by someone, and once the document is placed in a particular folder, somebody has to go look at that document, get it reviewed, and then inform you that they've reviewed and they've signed off on the document. Now, it's a simple couple of steps, but we don't know if people are checking the file regularly, so as a result, we don't know how quickly these processes might get done. Not able to play that video again. Srinidhi, do you mind just really quickly playing this video? So, got a simple example here. In a channel, we can set up a very simple flow where if you're able to upload or drop a file in a particular SharePoint folder, that should automatically nudge someone to have a look at that file. And I'm going to paint a scenario where, let's say, it's a sales associate and they've made a bid and they want the manager to have a look at this and give a quick sign off. You can see how from the manager's view, they get a little notification from from using Flow, where we've connected it with the approvals application or the approvals concept, where they're able to quickly review, check what this is, and send the approval. And of course, the employee on this side gets the indication right there that they've already approved it. And you can always go back to that folder and you get an indication as to what the status or sign off status of all these files are. And you can see that this one's approved. And it's a very simple example of how you will have different members or different teams and you have files that are going through those motions, and how we can cut down on time, how we can push that by making simple connectors that will nudge the right people to complete the tasks all inside of Teams without ever leaving what they were doing. Just a simple nudge to go back to and come back to what they were doing or what they were discussing about. And giving you another example, borderline no code, low code, I would say, where we have a lot of simple apps, but that you can use straight off the bat by the App Store, but also app templates that you can use, where we have already developed a whole list of app templates. In fact, we'll drop the link on the chat just after this section where you can review these app templates. These you can directly deploy and use inside your account using your IT team, or you can tweak them based on your requirements. The app template in its most vanilla version, will solve for a few things, but if you want to use it beyond what's available, it's open source. You can customize it and use it. And I'm just picking an example here where, hey, if you do close and you get the sign off and it's approved, nothing like, celebrating your victories and coming together as a team. And collaborating also means collaborating over celebrations, not just work, but we have a number of templates to engage your teams, celebrate together, productivity wise, tasks wise, being a virtual assistants for a whole number of them. We have very simple, easy to deploy and it's ready to like start using for your team, I'd say review them. We'll share the link, and then once you start using them, we'll be good to go. And we can obviously help you along the way. Sorry, got a little distracted there. And I'm gonna quickly leave you with one simple example for custom solutions, which is, let's say you are in a meeting with a customer as a sales member. Wouldn't it be great to have all the context about this particular lead or about this particular opportunities right from your CRM inside the meeting itself? And giving an example of how we're talking to Mr. Kapoor over here, and I can see, anything related to that opportunity and what's been the customer's journey so far inside your account. This allows you to, share and have contextual conversations with the customer right then and there. And maybe you regularly perform actions with your customers, like let's say you want to share some collaterals or share some files and quickly automate some next steps. We could even bring those in. And this is not something that's available, but this is a envision or of a custom solution that we can build based on your business requirements. If you think something like this is vastly going to enable your sales team to have quicker, easier, faster conversations with your customers, where they can quite simply, let's say, share policy documents in this case, and it's a quick, simple share right there inside the meeting itself. But that's showing you what's the art of possible in terms of when we start to build custom solutions. I'm showing you a quick and easy example, and I would say, in summary, if you are looking to create a single hub for your team, and even if it's beyond your sales team and your customer facing team, you've got ready to use applications. And I would say, and I would repeat myself in saying, go check out the App Store. We've got plenty of apps available for various use cases that you might have. Your low code, no code solutions that are right there for you to capitalize on. I'd say reach out to your point of contact inside of Microsoft, your customer success manager or your account executive. We'd be happy to share more details on, let's say, the Power Platform and how you can capitalize on these simple connectors, which are no code and takes a matter of a few hours to build out what's going to save, I would say, tens or hundreds of hours of work on the long run for you and your team. And of course, the elaborate, extensive technology that we have and the layers that we can build if we want to go for a custom solution